68th commencement ceremony. Will the audience please rise for the processional?
Sweet, this is gonna be great.
Will the audience please remain standing for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good afternoon, students, honored family members, and friends. I'm Beatrice Yorker, Dean of the College of Health and Human Services. Welcome to the 68th Commencement Ceremony. Over the course of your academic career, our faculty, administration, and staff have shared with you valuable information about the world that informs and excites them. They have imparted their wisdom upon you. They have become your mentors and, for many of you, your colleagues. At this time, I would like to acknowledge California State University trustee Hugo Morales, the chair of the Academic Senate, Dr. Nancy Warder Perez, the members of the faculty and emeriti faculty representing the university's 6 colleges, the John F. Kennedy Memorial Library, and the administration for their contributions in assisting students to excel and achieve their goals. Will these members of the university community please stand and be recognized? The volunteers you see today wearing dark gray polo shirts and working hard to answer your questions are members of our staff. I'd like to acknowledge them as well. Now, please join me in extending a warm welcome to the President of California State University, Los Angeles, William A. Covino.
Congratulations, class of 2015. Right. We're so delighted to have you here with your friends and family, your loved ones and children, our great faculty and staff members, and we are all here to join in congratulating and sharing in the excitement of this day because you have done it. You have worked very, very hard. You have persevered. You have earned advanced degrees that have involved all-night study sessions, juggling school and work, raising families, all that in the process. But yeah, that means you. But you never lost sight of what was important, being here to celebrate your degree today. And it's a wonderful day for you, for us, for Cal State LA. There's really never been a more exciting time to be a part of this university. This is a transformative moment for all of us, and you are sharing that delight with us right now. The video you're about to see describes it best. So please turn your attention to the screen.
How do we adapt, transform, evolve? What does it mean to progress, advance, develop? How far can we push the boundaries, move the needle? How can we surprise, disrupt, shift the paradigm? How will we build a legacy? With a renewed mission and a strong sense of purpose, we say, now is the time.
Action.
In this place, where dedication, opportunity, and success converge, we are poised to transform our campus, our city, and our world. In order to lead our community, we must first serve it. In order to be global citizens, we must first be civic-minded. Who will lead the way? Who will stand up? Who will soar? California State University, Los Angeles. LA's public university for the public good.
So we could not put together anything like that without you and your accomplishments. And you know the central question in that presentation is who will soar? And the answer is, of course, you, right? I mean, there's really no limit. No limit. You are pushing at the upper and outer limits today. No limit to the heights that you'll reach. And no matter where life takes you, you will always be part of the Golden Eagle family, and we will treasure you as we do today. This weekend, from yesterday through tomorrow, 6,398 students will become graduates of Cal State LA. 89 of those students are veterans, brave men and women who have served our country with valor and distinction and who came back to earn their college degree. We want to recognize those veterans today and ask any veterans in our graduating class with us to please stand and let us recognize you. Congratulations to all of the veterans who have graduated from Cal State LA this weekend. And to all of our 2015 grads, today you join the ranks of only 7% of the world's population who hold a university degree of any sort, and a much tinier percentage that hold the sort of advanced degrees that we are awarding you today. We know that in future, your life, as all lives, will be full of changes, of ups and downs. But through the decades ahead, one thing will never change. You will always have the degree that you have earned, the degree that you're receiving today. And it's not just any university degree, right? It's a Cal State LA degree. It's a degree from a university that Washington Monthly Magazine ranked number 7 in the United States as a top master's university. Here at Cal State LA, as you've pursued your graduate studies, you have had the opportunity to work side by side, interact one-on-one with the most accomplished professors anywhere on path-breaking research that is improving our health, our environment, our artistic and cultural life, our safety and security, our economy, working on award-winning projects like the Eco-Car at world-class facilities such as the Hertzberg Davis Forensic Science Center, at the state-of-the-art TV, Film, and Media Center, and the largest university-operated hydrogen station in America. Along with all this, You've worked on community service and public policy projects that are transforming what we know, what we can do, and how we can help the regions in which we all live and work. These are some of the ways in which a Cal State LA education is vibrant and dynamic, enriching and rigorous. And those include the classroom experience itself, the program experience itself, right here in the College of Health and Human Services, which is a truly exceptional college. It is home to a speech pathology program that ranks, I knew there were fans out there, a speech language pathology program that ranks in the top 20 in the country and number 1 in the state of California. It's home to the 2015 class of nursing doctoral students, the second class of our nursing practice program. And it's home to innovative students like Gregory Hogrebe. Gregory's thesis research investigates polarized light microscopy to distinguish the damage to fabric attributed to penetration by a bullet rather than damage caused by cutting, tearing, normal wear and tear. Gregory conducted his research in collaboration with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department Scientific Services Bureau and the Criminalistics faculty here at Cal State LA. He recently presented at a seminar held by the California Association of Criminalists and was named a 2015 National Scholar by the Association of Firearms and Tool Marks Examiners. Today, Gregory graduates with a Master's of Science degree in criminalistics. His goal is to work as a criminalist specializing in firearms examination. Students like Gregory are changing the way we work, the way we understand, shifting the paradigm. Gregory, where are you? Congratulations. Stories of exceptional students and innovative programs form the fabric of Cal State LA and place the College of Health and Human Services among the finest anywhere. This is a fabric that's woven with powerful principles. Those principles are engagement, service, and the public good. Principles that truly make this a great university. And when you receive your degree today, I want you to wear that fabric on the job, in your careers, in your civic life, because you are walking examples of what makes Cal State LA great. You show the world what we stand for, and I want you to stand as the leaders into the future. Leaders in your careers, in your disciplines, leaders in your communities. That will mean giving back to the city, the region, the community that has given you so much. It means being a living example of how opportunity and dedication create success. Being a person that others can count on for help, for good advice, for friendship. Being a voice for the public good. It means carrying the ethic of engagement that you learned at Cal State LA beyond the university walls for all to see. I have no doubt that you will live up to those expectations because today you follow in the footsteps of 235,000 alumni of Cal State LA and 3 million alumni of the California State University system. You become part of a history of inventors and innovators, citizens and civic leaders who have learned on this campus. People such as tennis legend Billie Jean King, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Lucille Roybal Allard, astronaut Samuel T. Durance, international business leader Isaac Larian, and even the members of the family that owns our favorite bakery, Porto's Bakery. These folks today will become your fellow alums, so you have a lot to live up to. You're called upon to do great things, but I have no doubt, as I've said, that you will, because you're used to these challenges. For many of you, nothing has ever been easy. For many, attending college, let alone getting a graduate degree, was never a foregone conclusion. But with the love and support of your families, with the encouragement of your brothers and sisters and grandparents, here you sit. But you didn't do this alone, right? There have been those moments, there have been those days, there have been those times when things became a little overwhelming, or maybe you got off track, or you just needed some help and advice. And there have always been people there in your lives to offer that to you and make things right again. We want to make sure we recognize them. Will the parents of our graduates today please stand and let us recognize you? Thank you. Will the spouses, partners, and children of our graduates please rise and let us recognize you? Will the grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, and relatives, everybody stand and let us thank you? You have all been a great part of what we celebrate today. And I can tell from those expressions of love that you, graduates, are ready to become the 2015 graduating class of graduate students in the College of Health and Human Services. You are ready to do what is great and to face new challenges. And we are so very happy to welcome you to the future. Congratulations. Now, we come to a very special part of today's commencement. On the recommendation of the California State University Board of Trustees, Natividad Nati Cano has been selected to posthumously receive an honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Trustee Hugo Morales from the California State University Board of Trustees will now read that citation. Trustee Morales.
Thank you, President Covino. It's a pleasure to be here. Born in 1933 in the small village of Ahuizculo, Jalisco, Mexico, the late Natividad Nati Cano enrolled in the Academia de Música in Guadalajara to study violin. In 1950, Cano traveled to the border town of Mexicali on the border to join El Mariachi Chapala, and several years later immigrated to Los Angeles. There he joined Mariachi Aguila, the house ensemble of the $1 Million Theater. As you know, that was the place to see mariachis at that time, a major stopping point in the Mexican professional circuit. Upon the death of the group's director, Nati became the new leader of the renamed band Los Camperos. From these humble beginnings, Cano earned United States citizenship and took his legacy of Mexican culture to countless Americans across the United States, opening doors of opportunity for Mexican musicians and other cultural bearers, and permanently transforming social and cultural attitudes toward the potential of Mexican culture. Nati redefined American culture. Nati redefined LA. Nati redefined California. Beginning in the 1980s, Nati dedicated much of his attention to mentoring young people. For nearly 3 decades, he led musical workshops for young people throughout the Southwest. His charisma and focus on character as well as artistic excellence touched literally hundreds of thousands of young people. His band, Los Camperos, conducted hundreds of workshops and taught thousands of young musicians the technique and art of mariachi music, including here in LA and in Fresno and throughout California. He also created San Fernando's Model Mariachi Master Apprentice Program, which resulted in the creation of the award-winning mariachi youth group Mariachi Tesoro de San Fernando. Nati was a pioneer of mariachi music in the United States. Under his direction for 53 years, the Los Angeles-based mariachi troupe Los Camperos de Nati Cano introduced mariachi music to mainstream America, sometimes with the company of many famous artists from Mexico in the United States. Cano and his band became an institution in Los Angeles, not only for their music, but also for providing a gathering place and musical hub for Los Angeles at the La Fonda restaurant in downtown Los Angeles for nearly 4 decades. In 1989, the National Endowment for the Arts awarded Nati the American government's highest award in folk and traditional arts, the National Heritage Fellowship Award. The Smithsonian Folkweeks Recordings, the nonprofit record label of the Smithsonian Institution, published 3 recordings of his group, which resulted in 1 Grammy Award, a 2nd Grammy nomination, and several other awards. Radio Bilingüe, which I head, features him every morning on weekday mornings. In recognition of his many accomplishments and contributions to the university and the community, the Board of Trustees of the California State University and California State University, Los Angeles, is proud to posthumously confer upon Natividad Cano the honorary degree of Doctor in Humane Letters. We'll present this to his widow, Andrea Cano, his daughters, Alejandra Cano and Natalia Cano. And Alejandra and Natalia just recently graduated recently.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon Natividad Nati Cano our highest honor, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, with all of the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. It is an ancient custom to invest those who receive academic degrees with hoods that demonstrate and designate the degree bestowed. We present this hood to Nati's family.
Well, first of all, I wanted to congratulate all of you, and we are beyond words. I don't know. Well, I will say this. I remember Nati saying, taking me to a restaurant in Guadalajara, and there was a sign outside. It was from, back in the 40s, and it would say, we no admittance to women, men in uniform, beggars, right, and dogs, and on the bottom, mariachi. And he always remembered that. And he took me to see that, so I think, we've come a long way. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, President Covino. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our student speaker for the ceremony. Kathy Sacco is a caring and passionate leader in the nursing profession. While working full-time as a registered nurse, Kathy enrolled at Cal State LA to deepen her nursing skills. In recognition of her outstanding academic accomplishments, she was recently inducted into Sigma Theta Tau, the Nursing Honor Society. Kathy is the co-author of a paper that has been accepted for publication in Critical Care Nurse, a clinical practice journal. Kathy graduates today with a Master of Science in Nursing. She'll continue to serve her community as a nurse practitioner. Please welcome Kathy Sacco.
Good afternoon, President Covino, Dean Yorker, esteemed faculty, and fellow students. Today is a great day. On behalf of the students, I would like to thank President Covino, Dean Yorker, and all of our wonderful professors for making our experience here at Cal State LA both rigorous and meaningful. You have challenged us, prodded us, and encouraged us, and now is the time for us to take your mentoring forward. Today is a celebration of new beginnings. On our university's welcome website page, President Covino states that the university believes that compassion and caring for one another are at the heart of what an education means. I may be biased, but I believe that the College of Health and Human Services carries out this mission by its very existence. For if we do not have compassion and caring, what do we have? We have very little, and certainly not joy. All of us, from the professors to all the graduates themselves, are here because we care about people. The college represents several disciplines, but all have humanity, concern for people, and the desire to improve others' lives at the heart of their mission. Los Angeles is a better place because Cal State LA has been here to serve the local community and the student community. I know that I'm not alone when I share that I have been changed by this experience. Not only have I been taught to critically analyze and scientifically evaluate data, but I have been taught the importance of excellence. I have witnessed the diversity of various ages, cultures, religions, and belief systems working together to help people. One of my most memorable moments here was in my first year. I was working in a student group discussing patient care and how best to help a particular patient. I noticed our group's varied racial and ethnic and religious composition and was struck by the unity that we all had in helping that patient. It was a pinnacle of all the beautiful things that America stands for. We have been prepared to take that attitude now into our worlds. Now to the students, I have words of encouragement and exhortation. Students, you may just be starting your careers or returning to school like me. Take time to exhale, but don't lose your passion. Remember why we did this. We care about others and what happens in the world. Cal State LA has given us the torch, and now we must light the path for others to follow. Continue to further your education. It's never too late, and you're never too old. Find a mentor. Be a mentor. Never give up on the quest for new knowledge. Be proud. Most of us didn't go into these fields because we were going to get rich, but rather because we have heart and passion. Be proud of your accomplishments and proud of our alma mater. Once again, I wish to thank our president and the dean for their leadership. I want to thank all of our families and friends, and personally my husband and my children and my mom and family and friends for being here. We love you all. I want to once again just talk about and thank our wonderful professors for their willingness to give of themselves, and to thank my fellow students for being the funny, smart, caring, innovative, and hardworking people that I've come to know. Now I conclude by leaving you with one famous quote by George Washington Carver. This has kind of become my life verse. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong, because someday in your life you will have been all of these. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2015.
Thank you, Kathleen. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the Chief Academic Officer of the University, Dr. Lynn Mahoney, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Mahoney.
President Covino, I present to you the candidates for degrees in the College of Health and Human Services. They have met all of the requirements for their respective degrees and are recommended by the university faculty who taught them. Will the candidates for doctoral degrees please rise for conferral of degrees by President Covino?
By the authority vested in me by the state of California and by the trustees of the California State University, I hereby confer upon you the doctoral degree for which you qualify with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the marshals please escort the recipients of the Joint Doctoral Program in Nursing Practice of California State University, Los Angeles, Fullerton, and Long Beach to the stage.
And now presenting Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Betty Shaby.
Ann Lee.
Elizabeth Ornelius.
Kathleen Mary McDermott.
Colleen Diane Bogdanich.
Yuching Karen Lee.
Toyetta Lynn Bukes.
to the next one.
Congratulations to the DNP class of 2015. Will the candidates for master's degrees please rise for conferral of degrees by President Covino?
You ready? All right. By the authority vested in me by the state of California and by the trustees of the California State University, I hereby confer upon you the master's degree for which you qualify with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the marshals please lead the recipients for the Master of Arts and Master of Science from the College of Health and Human Services to the stage?
And now presenting the Master of Arts in Child Development.
Charles Ledesma.
Doree Suzanne Wern.
Lina Oboheses.
Roxana Javier.
Jenny Quijano.
Christopher Noé Rodriguez.
Claudia Yamilet Hernandez.
Ling Su. And now presenting the Master of Arts in Communicative Disorders.
Megan Kathleen Burkart.
Laura Beth Geisert.
Adrian Lynn Hirsch.
Carolyn Stern.
Teresa Rose Moss.
Sarah Elizabeth Sung.
Patricia Carrillo.
Irene Esparza.
Carolina Macias.
Stephanie Dana Cash.
Shanae Adele Sitterbu.
Emily Rose Huffman.
Noel Panic Sagan.
Vivian Veronica Tisi.
Jan Beach.
Jessica Kimiko Chang.
Rosa Elena Villanueva.
Jeffrey Edward Moreno.
Ian Dow Morton.
Eduardo Rivas. And now presenting the Master of Science in Nursing.
Christy Danielle Aiello.
Mylene Benitez.
Dinita Marshall.
Jane Blackwell Hollingshead.
Kathleen Marie Sacco.
Melinda Joy Wong.
Amy Fong.
Monique Denise Leland Makasayed.
Elizabeth Carranza.
Rebecca Ann Wahi Naho Okowai.
Christy Renee Lambaron.
Genevieve May Tatko Villamayor.
Melanie Almasi.
Ashley Alessa Harris.
Francis Leah Jameson.
Mensa Hasanovich.
Olga Malshava.
Florinel Elorta.
Sandy Chang.
Jackie Huang.
Viviana Elizabeth Pardida.
George Dajkovic.
Jessica Lotto.
Chesa del Rosario.
Elmer Bigayan Dorsasan.
Vanessa Medina Antolin.
Kayfon Sao.
Vidya Vijay Nair.
Vlad Georgiou.
Delia Deng.
Selena Louis.
Jillian Christine Wade. And now presenting the Master of Science in Nutritional Science.
Maria Villarreal.
Cecilia Alvarez.
Ivan Perez.
Tiffany Chin.
Charlene Jan Garcia.
Monica Padlow.
Ashley Carice Youngman.
Sasha Sheftel.
Carrie Oliver.
Supatra Hannah.
Carrie Adace.
Sharon Joy Bowers.
Kylie King Vanover.
Min Win.
Julie Tang.
Christina Chang.
Rebecca Koo.
Ron Josephine Shukart Abe.
Janita Hasmukh Patel.
Cheryl Kashi Akagi.
Carolina Castillo.
Lorena Menuti.
Yu Chen Nicole Chu.
Lee Chang. And now presenting the Master of Science in Kinesiology.
David McMillan.
Daniel Navarro.
Ivana Melgar.
Christine Shea.
Eisen Daniel Castro.
And now presenting the Master of Science in Criminal Justice.
Esther Gracia.
Sandra Maravilla. And now presenting the Master of Social Work in Social Work.
Luisa Bayulan.
Zuli Chan.
Valerie Denise Garcia.
Guadalupe Neri Trolia.
Olga Flores.
Anna Safarian.
Brittany Annette Saldana.
Melissa Carmona.
Blanca Aurora Cuevero.
María Esther González.
Dario Ortega.
Leonel Aguilar.
Landon Holbrooks.
Ramona Muñoz Aguilar.
Bania Burnell.
Vanessa Soto.
Julia Ann Greco.
Say Park.
Laura Schroeder.
Sandra Lopez.
Carlos Daniel Quintanilla.
Griselda Sánchez.
Benina Espinosa.
Kelly Wynisha Fleming.
Roberto Ricardo Cruz.
Adriana Castro Soriano.
Stephanie Andrea Rush.
Evelyn Aguirre.
Cynthia Eliana Novoa.
Sheree Trinice Grant.
Kevin Michael Grace.
Leah Mandelbaum.
Jorge Asensio.
Janet Aristigui.
April Hernandez.
Krista Catherine Mills.
Luz Elena Fernandez.
Joanna Jacqueline Venancio.
Jessica Victoria Rivera.
Darlene Martin.
Brittany Diana Jean Nail.
Diana Cárdenas Fragoso.
Fabiola Genesee Solizano.
Estela Magaña.
Elizabeth Archer Pascual.
Kimberly Martinez.
Norma Beatrice Coriel.
Denise Leon.
Vanessa Torres.
James Coley.
Alexander Gittinger.
David Matthew Ho.
Sarah Benaj.
Vanya Win Panahon.
Philip Chong Long Lu.
Takesha Renee Baylor.
Zazmir Michaela Algamindi.
Whitney Marie Kennedy.
Gabriel Marmalejo.
Ileana Ramos.
Tasha Eddy.
Vanessa Soriano.
Navcoat Sipskan.
Shelley Nicole Henning.
Lauren Emily Waltemeyer.
Stephen Richard Johnson.
Miwa Victoria Gutierrez.
Kimberly D. Moore.
Gayan Gregorian.
Amy Balyan.
Laura Lisa Bagosian.
Linda Shanti Natarajan.
Philip Dunqua.
Jasmine Corona.
Stephanie Laura Contreras.
Lisette Avellaneda.
Conchita Ortega.
Cristal Ávila.
Erica Yvonne Salazar.
Elsa Zacarías.
Dana Mohammed Taha.
Perla Casapa.
Alex Slevkov.
Ángel Brian Rodríguez.
Alejandro Paredes.
Jeffrey Bellissimo. And now presenting the Master of Science in Criminalistics.
Andrew John Calhoun II.
Darcy Kempter Munson.
Julian Andreas Liss.
Greg Hagreb.
Heather Rushton.
Genevieve Marie Howell.
Congratulations to all of the master's graduates. I would like to thank all of the university staff, faculty, students, and volunteers involved in organizing the 68th commencement ceremony and acknowledge the members of the Honors Convocation and Commencement Advisory Committee. There will be a brief reception for graduates and their guests at Reeder Field following the recessional. We hope you will join us. Will the audience and graduates please rise for the university hymn? You will find the words on page 13 of your program.